This is Don't Panic, episode number 262, recorded December 16th, 2019. X marks the Obelisk. Hello, everybody, and welcome to this episode of Don't Panic, the technology podcast on gadgets, the internet, and who else would it be but you? I am Sean Jennings, joined as always by a couple of guys who are fired up and jazzed to be here. A couple of guys who have two thumbs way up. Colby Ryman and Dan Miller.
What's up, everyone?
Monday night, baby.
Monday.
You could be watching, I think, Monday Night Football is a thing, right? That's the thing that people watch?
Yes, actually, literally moments ago, Drew Brees threw his 540th touchdown pass to become number one all-time in league history, most touchdown passes thrown.
Drew Brees.
Yes. Do either of you know who he passed, who was previously on the number one list?
Mark McGuire.
Is it Tom Brady?
Kind of close. And actually, Tom Brady is now third on the list, but only by like one or two touchdowns. So they're kind of racing there. But no, the old front runner was Peyton Manning.
Ooh, Peyton Manning.
Yes. So,
That guy did a lot of cheesy commercials.
and still does. Good for him.
That's true, yeah. I would do cheesy commercials if someone would pay me for it.
Like, no one ever talks about how, like, even outside of commercials, he was, like, really good friends with the Papa John's guy.
Really?
Really?
I think
Newly infamous Papa John's guy with his sweaty interview?
the insane one. I think he owns, like, a bunch of Papa John's franchises or something. Like, he was really in
Is
with
the
Papa
plural
John.
of Papa of a bunch of Papa John's restaurant Papa's John's or what?
I like that, Papa's John's.
Right, because Papa John's, like, you can't do Papa John's. That would just sound weird. Like, the singular of a Papa John's restaurant is still Papa John's. It still has an S on the end.
But is it kind of like that weird Ruth's Chris thing?
Ruth's Chris Steakhouse.
Yeah. Do you know why it's called Ruth's Chris?
Ruth's Chris.
Yes.
Because it's Ruth's Chris who's making all these steaks, and he's sort of wholly owned, like an indentured servitude kind of situation.
It's a good guess, but unfortunately, no. It was originally Chris's Steakhouse, and a woman named Ruth bought it, and his only condition of selling it was they couldn't take Chris out of the name, so it became Ruth's Chris Steakhouse. That's 100% true.
Huh.
It's a fun fact, Sean.
Wow.
I had fun learning that fact.
I'm full of them. Tell all your friends.
I will. I'm going to tell them all about Ruth's Chris.
Guys, get over here. Get over here. I want to talk about Ruth's Chris.
You're never going to believe this.
I heard the craziest thing online.
So previously, was it Chris's Steakhouse, or was it always just Chris Steakhouse?
That I gotta double check.
Because that's the thing. If it was Ruth's Chris's Steakhouse, I would have guessed that a lot sooner, you know?
Yeah, it was Chris, 3 words. Chris Steak House.
Chris?
Founded by New Orleans entrepreneur Chris Matlich in 1927.
That's weird. Have you guys ever been to one of those?
No, too fancy.
I think so.
I've been to a Capitol Grill, which I'm told is equivalent.
Yeah, I feel
they
like...
have those in New York.
They have those everywhere now.
Right. I always thought the Capitol Grill, there was just one in every capital, because there was one in Providence.
Oh.
But I knew there were others. Like, there's at least 2 in Boston.
No, there's one in Houston, and that's not the capital.
What's the capital of Texas? Dallas?
Austin.
Austin? Really? Yeah. Wow. Texas
Weird.
feels like it has them. I guess California has this too, but even California, I feel like no other state has as many recognizable cities as Texas to anyone else in the United States. Like, I feel like almost anyone in the United States could name 3 cities in Texas.
Ooh. This sets us up for a perfect Don't Panic challenge. Okay. Colby versus Dan. Here we go.
Okay.
Which one of you wants to go first?
I'll go first.
Okay, Dan. We're going to see how many cities in California you can name.
Okay.
And we're going to see how many cities in Texas Colby can name. and we'll see who can get the highest number.
Oh my god!
But
This is awesome.
to make it fair and so it doesn't go on forever, you're going to have, we'll say 90 seconds to name as many as you can. So there's a speed element. Okay?
Okay.
Dan, since you volunteered, you're going to get to go first. We're looking for cities in California.
Sausalito.
1.
Now, do I just keep going?
Yeah, just keep going.
Oh, Temecula.
Well, I'll start the clock over because you didn't get the rules. No, it's how many you can name in 90 seconds.
Temecula.
Okay, so that's 2.
Anaheim.
3.
Los Angeles.
4.
San Diego.
5.
San Jose.
6.
San Francisco.
7.
Redwood City.
8.
Oakland.
9.
Said Redwood City. Bakersfield.
There you go. That's another one. That's 10. You're only halfway through your time.
Only halfway to me time. I got all the time in the world. Norwalk.
Okay, that's 11.
Irvine.
12. You got 10 seconds. Tick, 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 tick. 3, 2, 1. Stop. We also would have accepted Irvine, Long Beach.
I said Irvine!
You did say Irvine. That's right. Long Beach, Burbank.
Santa Monica. Cruz.
All the nice places.
There are all the
Marina
tech
Del
company
Mar.
places. You got Palo Alto. You got
Cupertino.
Montague. You got
Menlo
yeah.
Park. My problem was, just so the listeners know, I'm 3 drinks in. So my strategy was, I'm going to name all the hard ones first, and then towards the end, I can pick up the easy ones. But then I lost my train of thought, and I couldn't pick up the easy ones later on.
You kind of imploded, but that's okay, because I still think 12 is a solid number that Colby's. It's going to be tough to beat. But
cities in Texas.
Yep. Yep. This is it. But this was the challenge, right? Which has more recognizable cities? So we're going to find out, Colby. It's all on you. We're looking for you to 12 to tie, 13 to win. You've got 60 seconds, and the clock starts now.
All right. I'm going to try all the easy ones. So we got Dallas. We got Austin. We got Houston.
Yeah, that's 3.
We got Fort Worth.
Yeah.
We got El Paso.
Yeah, that's 5.
Waco.
Yeah.
Honestly, this might be the end of my Texas cities.
You're at 6.
You got Texas Toast.
Toast Town? No, not a thing. Galveston.
Oh, Galveston.
Galveston, that's 7.
Yeah. Come
on, just 5 more. You got 10 seconds.
I know, but I know 0 more. Did I name all the big ones?
I think you did. I'm sure there are other good size ones. But
Dude, Dallas and Fort... Did you say Fort Worth, Colby?
He
did,
did,
I did.
Okay, that's your time. How did you feel about your performance?
I mean, not great, but I would
tried.
have done way better on California.
Hey.
There you go. We also would have accepted Corpus Christi, Plano, Arlington, Laredo, Lubbock, Garland.
Laredo.
They also have an Irving
Lubbock.
there. Grand
Lubbock's
Prairie,
a classic
Frisco,
Texas city.
Midland. You actually named Waco, which is the 25th largest city, and left a whole bunch out there. So, good attempt.
Lubbock is a city in northwest Texas known as the birthplace of rock and roll legend Buddy Holly, who I have never heard of before.
You've never heard of Buddy Holly?
No, I've never heard of Buddy Holly.
We got to get you out.
Haven't you heard that Weezer song?
No, I probably haven't heard that Weezer song. Buddy Holly.
This is crazy. Dan,
Yes?
Merlin and John have absolutely mentioned Buddy Holly.
Yeah, but when they talk about that stuff, I have no idea what they're talking about. I just kind of zone out. I'm like, insert 45 minutes of rock and roll talk, roll credits.
I think
Look at
that
this
means
guy.
you have homework to do.
I do. I have so much homework. You have no idea. Look at this guy. This guy looks like a a nerd. He looks like a total nerd.
Yeah, that was the style back then. Look, Dan, I know you're out there listening to your Billie Eilish and your Lizzo and whatever's cool now, but, Buddy Holly used to be a thing. Back in the day.
Gospel music. This guy doesn't look like a gospel music kind of guy. He died at the age of 22?
Yes, famously, the night music died.
That was the night music died?
Yes, when the plane went down with Big Bopper, Buddy Holly, and the other
Big
guy.
Bopper. Big Bopper.
Died in a plane crash.
Am I confusing him with someone else? Oh yeah, the day the music died.
Big Bopper, J.B. Richardson.
And Richie Valens was in that plane crash as well. Famously commemorated in the song American Pie.
I'm gonna go ahead and say that Big Bopper looks like way less of a nerd than Buddy Holly does.
Big Bopper.
Look at this. Big Bopper he kind of looks like Travis Kalanick. He looks like the Uber CEO, formerly.
Ooh, I like how square his haircut is.
Right?
It's very.
He's staunch.
It was a look.
Big Bopper. I mean, he does seem like a big bopper.
Certainly not a small bopper.
No.
And with that, nobody's listening anymore. Okay. Good. Now that we've scared them all away.
Wait, did it... Oh, okay, never. We don't have to keep talking about this.
Wow. Who knew? I didn't know Buddy Holly died in a plane. I mean, I knew he died.
Yes. Can you name any other famous musicians who died in a plane crash?
Harrison Ford almost died in a plane crash. And ready? Let's do another No Panic Challenge where Colby tries to name as many musicians as he can who's died in a plane crash, and Dan names musicians who died in cars.
No, it's unnecessary because I don't know any.
I don't know any that died in cars either, but if you said died by drug overdose, then now we're talking.
Right.
Well, a healthy chunk of Lynyrd Skynyrd famously died in a plane crash. Otis Redding, Stevie Ray Vaughan.
What?
Jim Croce, one of my personal favorites. John Denver.
John Denver?
Yes.
I thought he was still alive.
No, he died in 1997. In a plane he himself was piloting.
That's a classic.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's a whole other subgenre, is like which celebrities have died in planes that they themselves were piloting.
Which does lead me into a bit of a segue, because I do have to ask you guys, as people who work in industries where people tend to have too much money, am I the only one who's noticed that white guy, like rich, middle-aged white guy hobbies went from sports cars to fancy boats to flying?
No.
No,
Okay.
that's correct.
Okay. Wait, am I correct, or you're saying no?
No, I think I agree with you.
Okay.
And I think it went there a long time ago.
Okay.
I think it went there like 10, 15 years ago.
Oh, okay. Because suddenly, like, every successful near-retirement guy I know has learned how to fly a plane and is planning to buy one.
Harrison Ford.
That dude at my work who just talks about flying all the time. Yeah.
Yep. That dude that from the story that my boss tells, where he tried to sell him a plane that he was supposed to sell to a Saudi prince, but quote, not one of the rich ones.
That's embarrassing. And the funny thing is that not very rich Saudi prince is richer than any of us will ever be.
In this plane, it wasn't a Cessna, it was a 747.
Nice.
It was one of those little twin prop flyers. Anyways, so yes, that's a thing.
Yeah. I feel like at least 4 people I used to work with at Facebook now fly planes.
Whoa. Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
Do they still work at Facebook, or are they just plane flyers now?
No, I think like they fly planes as a hobby.
Got it. Do they own planes? I have lots of questions.
I'm pretty sure at least one of them had purchased a plane, like, while I was still working there.
Wow. Would you ever want to purchase a plane, Colby?
No. I don't think so. I mean,
Sure.
unless I literally had so much money I didn't know what to do with it, but I would
Right.
not fly it myself.
But why wouldn't you just pay somebody to fly it? Like,
That's
Oh,
what I
well,
mean.
that was
I
going to be
wouldn't
my
fly
next
it
question.
myself.
Was like, would you ever want to fly a plane? Would you ever want to learn? Would you ever want to pull a Colin and learn to fly a plane?
Not really.
Okay. Would you ever let Colin fly a plane with you in it?
yes. Sorry. Sorry. Yes, absolutely.
Would you ever? Okay, never mind. Wait,
Yeah, keep asking us hypotheticals. This is great.
okay. Would you ever let me fly you in a plane, Colby?
But today, with
Like
no
right
training.
now.
Sight unseen.
You don't trust
I'm not
Dan?
Gonna tell you. I'm not going to tell you whether I have any training or not.
Yeah, definitely assume he has aircraft training.
What's the payoff? Like where are we going in the plane?
Well, I feel like the classic is we're just going somewhere that you could get to by car. But we're going to go their way faster.
No, he's
And then
gonna do.
We die in a tragic celebrity plane incident.
Right.
That's the move. Pull ourselves a Bobby Kennedy and
Oh, Peter Tamarkin also died in a plane crash.
who's that?
You don't know who Peter Tamarkin is?
No.
Do you
Is
ever
that
leave
like,
your house?
Is that like Grand Moff Tarkin from Star Wars?
No, better.
Okay.
Peter Tamarkin, famed game show host, hosted the original run of Press Your Luck and died in a plane crash he was piloting.
What was the game show Press Your Luck?
You've never seen Press Your Luck?
No.
Oh my god, Dan, let's take a minute to talk about Press Your Luck, one of my favorite game shows of all time.
Okay.
It came out in the 80s, and the way it worked is there was a board, these were old CRT monitors, because it was back in the old days, and they had a bunch of them in a square. And each one would have a picture of a prize on it, and then it would go doot, 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 and it would like jump around the different monitors, and then you would slam a button, and then wherever it was when you slammed the button, it would stop, and you'd get that prize. So it was kind of random-ish. And you'd go,
So it was like a slot machine on live TV.
Exactly, except while many of the spaces were prizes and cash, some of the spaces were a whammy. And if you landed on the whammy, you lost everything you had won up to that point.
Is that where no whammies comes from?
That's what they would say in the show. Go, "Dut, dut, 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 dut. No whammies, no whammies, no whammies, stop!" And then they'd slam the button, and then it would freeze on the thing.
Wow.
It's an
I
amazing
didn't know
game show.
that.
And they have full-length episodes on Amazon Prime, so you can go watch. I have watched old 80s Press Your Lucks, hosted by Peter Tamarkin. It's kind of amazing. And the other thing I will tell you about Pressure, I'm sorry, I really enjoy Pressure Luck. The other thing I will tell you is that Pressure Luck was home of one of the most infamous game show scandals of all time, where a gentleman, and I don't remember his name, but a gentleman figured out that the board, this was before computers, the board only had so many patterns. And so what the dude did is he videotaped the show at home and would actually freeze frame it. And he noticed the pattern. He actually got on the show and he racked up, this was a show where like if you won that day, you'd win like maybe $10,000. He racked up over $120,000 in a single episode and just kept going and going. They actually had to extend it to a second day. He just kept going and going. And he actually beat the show out of all its money. They had to change the board and make sure it was more random after that.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That is a fun fact.
Damn.
Yep.
I'm learning so much.
Yeah. I truly am a fountain of useless knowledge.
That's really funny. Did he won the money, right? Like,
Yeah, they had to give it to him, but they did a big. Let me see if I can look up his name. They had like a big investigation to make sure it wasn't like someone working on the show had cheated. Michael Larson, that was his name. He was a self-employed ice cream truck driver.
Oh my god.
And he won a total of $110,000 in cash and prizes, the record for most money in cash and prizes won by a contestant in a single appearance on a daytime network game show of all time. And that record stood until 2006.
Wow.
well,
Yep.
Who beat him?
Why, that would be Vicky Ann, who won $147,000 in cash and prizes on The Price is Right.
Classic show. I've heard of that one.
Yep. Sometime I'll tell you about The Price is Right semi-scandal,
Uh-huh.
which I can just tell you right now. I
Yes.
don't remember if there was a couple who also figured out that The Price is Right was just using the same prizes over and over again. You know, like over a long period of time, but they taped and like did an Excel sheet of every prize and what the value was, and they memorized them. Got on the show, got all the way to the Showcase Showdown at the end, and guess, and this is what gets weird, is they actually knew the first 2 digits, so like 26,000. They knew the 26. And for the final 3 digits, they actually just guessed their bank pin. The first 3 digits of their bank pin, just to pick a random number. And they hit it exactly on the mark. Had never been done before. To the dollar. The show immediately shut down taping and assumed somebody had leaked something and something went horribly wrong. And it turns out Drew Carey famously was quoted as saying, "That was the day I thought I lost my job." Because they assumed like something had really gone wrong. No, they ended up winning the prizes, and the show has now gotten better about rotating in new prizes and playing with the pricing and things. But they actually knew every single price of every object that was going to be on the show.
That's crazy.
Now, I would read this book, The History of Game Show Mishaps.
Yes. That
would be... Maybe this is your calling, Sean.
I love game shows, and I love when things go very wrong on them. Game shows are... I mean, they honestly were such a massive part of television history. In the early days of television, game shows really paved the way for television. They were the most popular things on TV back in the day. So, and they've come back recently, which has been really great. They're Pressure Luck. They have a new one that you can watch on ABC.
Oh,
Elizabeth Banks hosts it.
Ooh,
is that from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air? Elizabeth Banks?
No, that would be funny though. No, actress Elizabeth Banks from Pitch Perfect and other.
She's in things.
She's in things.
She's in
and
things.
She writes direct. I believe she wrote and directed the new Charlie's Angels movie. I believe, or at least directed.
Nice.
Yeah. So that's some stuff.
That's some stuff.
That's some stuff. Yeah.
Wow. That's some stuff too.
Yeah, stop it. By the way, my cat's been chewing my AirPods case.
Uh-huh.
And knocking it off of things. Just the AirPods case. He'll just knock it off the counter.
Did one of you get the AirPods Pro? Are you an AirPod Pro?
Yeah.
Do you like it?
Yeah. It's I didn't realize, I wasn't expecting to really like it because I don't typically like those in-ear headphones. But having noise-canceling headphones, coming from regular AirPods, having noise-canceling headphones on public transit is really nice.
Yeah.
There is a lot of noise on that public transit.
Yeah.
Especially when you're waiting in the station and all these trains have to pass before your train shows up. Like, that's nice.
Oh, yeah.
What?
Yeah.
You know, I have a phobia of noise-canceling stuff in public places. Because I'm like, afraid I'm going to miss something or something's going to happen.
As someone who takes a train that regularly goes express from my stop to Coney Island, I am extremely careful to not miss any announcements. So that is the nice thing about the transparency mode, and the fact that I don't know if they talked about this when they announced them, but if you know how with the regular AirPods you take one out and they like pause.
Yeah.
You do this with these AirPods, it not only pauses it also puts it in transparency mode. So your hearing is actually augmented in that ear.
That's cool.
Which is pretty dope. So I feel you, Sean. It has mitigations in place.
Is the case still like wool? Does it still fit in your pocket?
I can get you both of them to compare. They is almost the same size. Like if you take the AirPods case, like if you put it this way, it looks really fat. But if you take it this way, it's just a little bit wider than the other one is wide. If you like reorient it from like the horizontal to vertical, so you make the AirPods Pro case tall. Yeah. It's not that much bigger.
Cool.
It's more like a different shape.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. The beats have been very annoying recently, so
oh no.
which is a shame because they cost the same.
That is a shame.
Yeah.
So, is anyone taking the Mac Pro challenge?
Yeah, I'm putting it on the Don't Panic Company card.
Yeah. You
Boy.
You getting the 50 grand version?
Why would you get anything less? Dan, I have to have 8 continuous 8K streams at the same time.
Yeah, Sean's
Nothing less
a pro.
would be a joke.
Sean is a pro. Like, honestly, Sean would use that computer more than we would, Colby.
Probably.
Dan, I've been begging my company just to get me a regular MacBook. Like, the regular one.
At one point, didn't you have a Mac Pro at work? Am I remembering that correctly?
No.
No,
I've
I'm
always
not.
had just a regular iMac.
An iMac.
Which has worked great, actually. It's the first Mac I've kind of used full time, and I've been very satisfied with it.
You have the iMac.
Yes.
Yeah, the iMac is so good.
Honestly, and I edit video and stuff on it, and it works great.
Nice.
Did you have a Mac Pro at home at one point? Where am I getting this from?
My friend and yours, Joe Spagnuolo, gave me a Mac Pro he picked up from Marist IT that I screwed around with for a little while and then realized it wasn't worth the hassle, and I gave it back to him. So
okay.
That was maybe like 6 months I had it.
Okay.
But I couldn't figure out what to do with it because he's like, "You want it?" And I go, "Okay." And then I was like, I didn't know what to do.
Our friend and yours.
Good man. Now engaged.
Best
There
to
you
him.
go.
Yep, we're rooting for him.
There you go. Rooting
not?
for him.
We're rooting for you, buddy. Hang in there. Fight the good fight. Anything else going on, guys?
I've made no progress on my smart home stuff, so I have nothing to report.
Yeah.
Oh, Colby, I will say that like HomeKit location automation stuff, it wasn't working like that first day I had it set up, and then it started working magically, and now it hasn't been working again.
Oh, darn.
Right.
See, I feel like that same thing happened to me where like the first time it was supposed to do it, it didn't do it. And then every time since then, it's done it.
I think there's something wrong. But now I'm starting to understand that, like, you really want some sort of diagnostic information out of these things. Like, hey, you know that I'm home right now, phone. So can I enter some, like, diagnostic mode? Or I'm like, hey, why didn't you think I was home when I got home an hour ago? But no, there's no such affordance that I know.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the best you can do is like you can have it like show a notification on your phone when the thing happens.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Have you used this for debugging HomeKit stuff?
Well, I haven't had to do too much debugging, but it is like a helpful clue. That's
so you've thought about it, but you haven't done it. Okay.
Right. Because like some of the automations by default are like the default option is like either it asks you before it runs or like it prompts you when it ran.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, that's all I've got. Nothing else has really happened.
I will mention very briefly, I mentioned on the show that I picked up the Lenovo smart clock.
Oh,
on
yeah.
Black Friday.
Yeah. Did it come?
It did, and I've had it for a little while. So have you guys ever used like the Google Home Mini, just a little puck?
Yes.
Yeah. It's kind of like that if it had a clock on it. Like, it really doesn't do anything more than that. I guess it's got a little better speaker in it, but the screen is really too small, and Google, it doesn't like show interesting things on it. It's really just a clock Google speaker. So it's fine. I wouldn't recommend you buy one.
Fair.
Now, Sean, did you buy the Hoobs?
I did not buy the Hoobs. I did not. I totally left. I'm not allowed to buy any more smart home stuff, Dan. I told you. I just can't. But you know what I did do? I took the Lenovo smart clock out of my bedroom, took my Echo Show 5, which is the 5-inch display Echo, put it in the bedroom, and I love it because now what I like about the Amazon stuff over the Google stuff is the Amazon routines you can set up work way better, and they're really easy to set up. So I set up a good morning routine where at 7 a.m. every day, the Alexa, it kicks on, my lights start to dim up slowly to 50%, and she goes, "Good morning," says some generic fun fact, tells me the weather.
Ooh.
Then I have it set up to play both my local news, because my local news station has a skill, and play national news. And then it starts to play my Pandora station. All automatically, every day at 7 a.m.
Nifty.
It's great.
That's amazing.
It's genuinely a shockingly good way to wake up.
That's what, so the thing that I got jeeped up about the shortcut stuff for was like, you can do a shortcut when you turn off an alarm.
Oh.
So I made a shortcut. I think you can also do it when you snooze an alarm, which could be interesting. But so I made a shortcut that when I turn off my alarm, it like turns on the lights in my bedroom and like starts playing a podcast over my AirPlays to wake me up. Not quite as involved as yours, Sean, but
I did not know that you could do that. That's pretty cool.
Neither did I, which is why I got so jeeped up about it.
Cole was getting jeeped up over all sorts of stuff.
Yeah. And there are a bunch of other interesting triggers too, like the you can do one, like you can do things when you connect to certain Wi-Fi networks.
See, Dan, that would be that you could use that for when you get home.
Yeah, I was just thinking that. Maybe that would be more reliable.
Yeah.
But then again, it never really explains how it knows when you're home. It's just like, oh, when you're home. Like, maybe it is using that.
Yeah. You can, what else is there? You can do it when you connect to certain Bluetooth devices.
Okay, that's okay.
Yeah.
We've blown his mind.
Yeah. Yeah. It seemed kind of cool. There was another really random one that I don't know. But in any case, I was pretty surprised. I was expecting like crappy geofences, and that's all.
Cool. All right, we'll have to keep working on those and report back our findings.
Working on it.
But in the meantime, we're going to swing on over to some tech news, and we've got some stuff here in the rundown from all the major big players in the tech space. Guys, what's our number one story this week? Where are we going to begin?
It's a lot of stuff here.
It's not too bad, especially for right before the holidays.
Can we talk about the new Xbox thing? Because I saw this come through and I didn't read anything about it.
Yeah, I mean, there's not really a ton of details, but we can certainly begin. What was announced this past week was two things: the name and the design. Outside of that, we still don't know very much in terms of the technical or the price or anything like that. It is coming holiday 2020, and it will be the Xbox Series X. Will be the name.
Xbox Series X.
Yeah, if you're wondering like I am, are they paid by the X? The answer is, it looks like it.
Are you sure, Sean, are you sure it's not the Xbox Series 10?
You just blew my mind. Oh my god.
The 10 box Series 10.
the Tenbo 10.
Tenbo 10, yeah.
Series. No, but it should be the Tenbo 10 Series X.
Yes.
Really, just to mess with you. That's great. That is a very good question. I haven't seen it written out anywhere. The only reason I would think it's X is because right now it's the Xbox One X is the current model. So but I do like that idea that they do it as 10. As you can see from the design, there was a lot of funny internet jokes going around about its sort of rectangular, tall, as I mentioned at the beginning of the show, the Obelisk-style design of the new case. It will include a custom-designed CPU, NVMe SSDs, which are faster. It'll support 8K gaming, frame rates of up to 120 frames per second, ray tracing, and variable refresh rate support. They say it is, while the current Xbox One X is 6 teraflops of GPU performance capable. The Xbox Series X will be capable of 12 teraflops. That's twice as many teraflops.
How many nits of brightness does it have?
It's got 38,000 unique points of brightness. And it's got a contrast ratio of 3 billion to 1.
Wow, that's a lot. That's a big ratio.
Yeah, you have to wear special glasses, or it'll just burn your retinas right off. It will also include auto low latency mode and dynamic latency input. Now I'm just reading stuff.
Huh. That seems cool.
You know what would be fun? I was just thinking, because this reminds me a lot of the GameCube design.
Yes.
That everyone made fun of at the time, and I guess everyone's still making fun of this. It could be fun to do, how to phrase this, to do sort of throwback reviews of old gadgets.
Oh, sure.
Like the GameCube, like the Zune, the original iPod. Anyways, that's just a thought I had. Maybe for a future Don't Panic challenge.
The Zune was great.
Challenge, use a Zune.
I miss my Zune. So what do you guys think of the design on this thing?
It looks kind of cool, but it wouldn't. Is it going to fit in cabinets?
Well, you know, two things. One, it can be laid on its side.
Oh,
Right.
But the other thing is, I saw a lot of people online saying that, but it's like, who still has a media cabinet? Do people still have media cabinets?
Yes.
That like aren't flexible enough for you to fit this in?
Well,
maybe. I don't know.
I go over people's houses all the time, and it's not like they have a media cabinet, but they have a lot of shit going on.
That's true.
Right? So it's convenient to be able to stack your stuff. You might not stack it. I think a lot of people have a lot of stuff, and not everyone stacks it. But everyone should be stacking their stuff. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, but this seems very stackable in a Tetris sort of way.
Yeah, especially because you can put it on its side. I was just going to say that none of these form factors, like, remember the PlayStation 2? Was the PlayStation 2 the one that you're supposed to be able to put on its side or flat?
Yes.
Did you know anyone who put it on its side? You put it on its side.
My family did.
Oh, wow. Because it was always so convenient to just put it with the VCR and all in your DVD player or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then later on your cable box, that I never did it. But my other, do you think, so if we can, so Don't Panic has been here for this entire console generation. I don't know if,
Gosh,
you
that's
realize
sad.
that. We were here when the PS4 and the Xbox One came out.
That's
You're
true.
And remember that whole thing about the rentals and the selling the game, and you couldn't sell a game on the Xbox because it was going to be region locked at some point, or not
Always
region
online.
locked. Always online, all this stuff, and then they eventually went back on it, but it seemed like it never recovered, and it seemed like the Xbox, as someone who's never had one, just got this reputation of, this isn't a console for playing games, this is a console for, they don't care about playing games, they do other stuff. And honestly, back in the time, I thought that was a better strategy. It's oh yeah, Xbox is your home entertainment center, and it plays your games, and it does your streaming, and it plays the movies, and it has all these other applications. It does the Skype thing. That seemed plausible to me, but it seems like the market bore out circa 2014 that no, people just want to play games. Maybe it has a Netflix app. Do you think is that a correct postmortem of what happened there?
I think one of the interesting features of the Xbox when it launched was an HDMI
it had a DVR, right?
Yes,
yeah,
it had a TV guide and stuff. That I think was more the mistake. Look at a company like Roku, right? They're doing gangbusters, and they're out there selling a lot of things that just play other things.
Yeah.
And there's no reason why an Xbox couldn't also be that. So I think there is a middle ground. But I think that the mistake they made was it wasn't games first. And they lost a lot of ground in terms of original titles, and a lot of the good stuff was coming out on PlayStation. A lot more independent stuff coming out on PlayStation. I think you're right. I do think it was a miss on not being more games focused, but I think they also could have kept the entertainment stuff going too.
Yes, I think that any console, looking at your Nintendo Switch, although there is Hulu on it, but any console should be able to play all of those people who want to be on every platform. Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime has shown to be this way. They should be on every game console. Anything that comes up to TV should have those things. And if they don't, if your product doesn't have those things, it's not Hulu's fault and it's not Amazon's fault. It's probably your fault.
Yeah, you have the money and the resources to get it done.
Yeah, and you probably didn't make it easy enough. Like, I'm sure Apple didn't go out and seek out some of these, but they probably did. But at the same time, it's easy enough to make an Apple TV app that doesn't matter. Anyways, I'm curious. Do you think the Xbox One will like be this more games focused thing? And do you think the landscape has changed since 2014 such that they might overcorrect and have like a missed opportunity here? Because like the overturned window of what people are comfortable in 2014, there was no. Was there HBO Now or was it still just HBO Go?
Oh, no.
There was no Disney Plus. There like very few of like the Hulu TV.
I don't even think there were streaming apps on it. I could be wrong. I don't seem to remember that being a major feature.
Maybe there weren't, but streaming as like the primary way of consuming media was not so much a thing in 2014, whereas now it's like every major CBS, Disney, all these companies streaming is much more a mainstream thing of like, oh yeah, I get the Disney Plus app. That's how I watch this show. In 2014, it was like, oh, House of Cards, wow, how innovative.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely had Netflix on my 360. Like, that was how I watched Netflix on the TV. I feel like the problem, maybe it's not a problem, but like, no one's going to buy a game, like a $500 game console to stream Netflix, right? Like, you could buy a $40 Roku thing and stream Netflix just the same. But if you're buying a game console to play games, like if it was good, if the TV stuff was good, I would use that.
And I think this is something that maybe Xbox read too much into the success of the PS3 on, where they were like, oh, the PS3, like one of the reasons the PS3 was successful was because it was one of the cheapest ways early on to watch Blu-rays. Like, that's true.
100%.
Which at whatever it was, $500, $600 at the time, like that's crazy. But that's how much a Blu-ray player cost. That isn't so much a thing now, I don't think. Maybe like some of the 3D HDR stuff. But that's more about the TV and less about the Blu-ray player. I don't know. Yeah. Maybe that's something they made a mistake on. Was reading too much into that success and thinking like this means that game consoles are the new DVD player.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. I think when we look forward to this next generation PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, we kind of know at least how the companies are positioning them, which is performance. I mean, that is absolutely what they're selling these on. It's technology, it's ray tracing, and it's low latency, and it's teraflops and all this crazy stuff. And I do think delicious teraflops. And no, they're going to be leading.
Come down to the teraflop house.
They're going to be leading on 4K. They're going to be leading on 120 frame rate. It's going to be we make the best looking, performing games, full stop. And that's that. Because I think the games part, when you start to look at things like Xbox Game Pass and some games are becoming a little bit more commoditized, a little more subscription-y, where, you're not a lot more cross-performance or cross-play, right? Like the new Modern Warfare, I think, is cross-play between everything. And I think you're going to... I think the reasons people... Like you said, Dan, I think the PlayStation 3 you bought because of the sort of media stuff. PlayStation 4 you bought because they had really great games, and I think the PlayStation 5 or the Xbox you'll buy is because it'll perform better than its competitor. At least that's how these companies are positioning it. Now, is that the reality?
That's what they want you to compare them with.
Yeah. See, I feel like I'm stuck in Sony forever now because I bought all the dumb games from their stupid digital store.
And it's where your friends are, right?
Yes.
Yeah. But that's where do the subscriptions fundamentally change that, right? Because just as a fun fact, I was curious. I signed up for Xbox Game Pass on my PC. Because I'm like, oh shit, that's right, I can do that. And it's like $5 a month. I said, I'll try it. I downloaded. I came this close to playing Outer Worlds. I didn't, but I almost did. I downloaded all like 70 gigabytes of it, and so it's ready to go. I did play Forza, and it looked great and performed excellently on my computer. Awesome. So, you know, to me as a light gamer, I'm not going to go buy, or maybe I'll buy it initially, but I'm not going to buy like $60 games all the time. So I think... Right. I'm very curious how that changes the landscape.
I feel like we could do a whole Don't Panic episode on this.
Oh, sure.
I want to talk to Colby about I was reading this retrospective on one of those, like, all these different outlets have the decade retrospective, which we have been here for most of as a show. Yikes. And I know. And one of the things they were talking about was PlayStation Now and how, like, at the time, and I think this was 2014, 2015, it was like, oh, PlayStation Now, that's the future of streaming video games, and like that's how everything's gonna go. And then it didn't happen, and then Stadia happened, and we had all the same hopes, and it still doesn't seem like it's happening. But, and I want to talk to Colby about that at some point, because he was in on live, but we're running low on time, and I forgot that I had a technology experience that is relevant to this conversation I should discuss.
Super.
Which is, I found myself with some time on Saturday, and I read all this stuff about how there was going to be this exclusive Star Wars Episode 9 clip shown in Fortnite.
Yes.
I played Fortnite twice, and then I deleted it. So on Saturday, I re-downloaded it. I watched the clip when this was announced at that like video game awards show, and the thing that got me inspired was it was someone who works on Fortnite. It was like Fortnite is not going to be just a game; it's going to be this like metaverse thing where everything is just like a virtual space where things happen, and like it's no more IP focused than TV is. It like Fortnite is just a medium.
It's Second Life, but not for losers.
Right, it's Second Life 10 years later that takes off. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. So with that frame, now I'm excited to check this out. So I downloaded it, and I followed the directions, and I found out later I was miraculously just got right into it. Like, the servers were apparently swamped. But I got right in, and at first it was like I was coming into it for the Star Wars experience, and it was very incongruous because for the first 30 minutes you're just playing Fortnite, and so I'm just getting wrecked. I'm just getting murdered over and over again, and I'm like, I don't really want to be playing this game. I've actually never even been on this map because they like changed the map. Like I just kind of want to poke around, and everyone's like machine gunning me. But then I reached this like new zen moment where I was like, it doesn't matter because I don't actually care. Then like this whole clip thing like experience starts where everyone's guns gets disabled and damage is turned off, and but what was cool was at this point like you couldn't like kill anyone anymore, and so people started building bleachers, like cooperatively building these little grandstands around where the clip was going to be shown to better see the clip. I was like, that's cool. Okay, like we're all here, we're having this like shared experience, and we're not just like bopping around like, oh look, there's a little avatar like doing a thing with like we're affecting each other's. It's in a stupid way, but like not a pointless way. Like we all made our lives better by making it easier to see this clip because we like constructed all these towers and stuff near. That's pretty cool. And the clip was actually pretty impressive, and it wasn't just like a video screen out in space. There was also like at some point all these Star Destroyers show up above you, and it looks like they're about to invade the planet. That was pretty effective. But the idea of Fortnite as the metaverse, where like, do you think that because at this point I was like, so many people play Fortnite, especially younger people. Will it be the next Minecraft, where like this is just like where kids do creative things online with their friends? And even further, will it just be the next Facebook?
I already think it's the next Minecraft.
Yeah, I think that's not a stretch. But then if it's the next Minecraft with an actual company behind it that really wants to make money, they should become the next Facebook. Like that's the move. Is you have all these people. Can you imagine how much money exchanged hands for the Star Wars clip? I don't know. I generally don't know which direction, but it exchanged hands in some direction, and it was significant. Mm-hmm. I don't know if Fortnite wanted it more than Star Wars or the other way around. But then you just like systematize that. That's crazy. Like that's.
I love that question. I will say that. I love that question. I think we as like almost 30-year-olds, which is annoying to say, cannot overestimate how much people are into Fortnite. Like there are Fortnite toys at the store.
Oh yeah.
Like it's ubiquitous. But I don't think it becomes Facebook until your aunt is in Fortnite. You know what I mean?
Right.
I think you can't just have young, because then it's just Snapchat and they use it for a while and then they get bored and then they move on to something else. I don't think it becomes as big as Facebook until everybody's on it. Could that happen? I don't know. It's a great question.
Interesting.
I feel like no, unless something about it changed dramatically, because I don't think like playing a game like that is for everyone.
Right. Why I was upset that I kept getting murdered. But then when I saw, like, oh, if there was just, like, a mode... Like, I even saw this. There is a creative mode where you can just play with your friends and like, build stuff in Fortnite. I saw that as an option, which I didn't remember being there a year ago. Like, if you just had a server with your friends that you were just building stuff in and things... There were events that happened in there. You could watch the Oscars in Fortnite together and, like... Oh, another cool thing they did was they asked questions of the audience, and you just went over, you took your little character, and you stood on a pad and answered, like, oh, I think this clip is going to be about Jedi mind trick. But depending on they don't have, not everyone, not all the 5 million people playing Fortnite are in the same room, right? Mm-hmm. So there's some subset of people. Whichever subset of, like, whichever option got the most votes in your subset, that's the clip you saw. Yeah. So, like, it was different depending on who was in there. And stuff like that where you could interactively with your friends watch something like the Oscars and, like, affect what you are as a group actually experiencing. There's no guns. Like, that's not the point. The point is that you're in this shared space building stuff. That stuff could be cool, like gun turrets to defend your fortress, or it could be just like an awesome structure that you keep around for a couple years and share with your friends. Yeah, I don't think they're there yet, but I saw the potential. So I'm interested to see. Maybe one of my my next decade predictions will be that there will be a metaverse, and I think Facebook is the ones who they've been doing a very bad job talking about this, because after I saw Fortnite, I was like, oh, this is what Facebook is so interested in VR for, is this persistent... It's so sticky if you're in one of those environments where you feel like you and your friends own it and you have this agency over it and you've tricked it out and you've painted things and you've built stuff and you've, like, dug your giant hole in the ground Minecraft style. Like, it's your thing. You're way more likely to go back when I'm thinking if I'm an advertiser than if it's just, oh, yeah, you just go to Facebook and this box and shit shows up in the box. Like, I don't really feel like Facebook is my Facebook. Facebook is just like a pipe that things show up through. But something like Fortnite and Minecraft feels like I could have a lot more attachment to it, which is very attractive to advertisers.
I love that you're talking about advertisers, Dan. This is great. You finally moved on to the dark side, where you're finding new, unique branding opportunities, brand extensions. I love it.
Oh, Fortnite is dunking on these brand opportunities. Whew.
They're making bank. No doubt about that.
You can use lightsabers in Fortnite now.
What?
Yeah.
And, like... The real question is, when are we going to have... Because we have done a Don't Panic Minecraft night. when are the three of... I think the only time I would ever even consider getting into Fortnite is with you two clowns.
Oh my god.
I would consider doing that. Just
Colby,
something
what
to
do you
think about.
Colby, have
Yeah,
you ever
look.
played Minecraft before? Or Fortnite?
I did download it one time. I played like 3 games, and I was
Okay.
like, okay, I get it. I'm done.
But you can do the dance. The
But
dances.
that's what like that's what I mean. Like what Dan, your vision sounds kind of interesting, and like if it were like that, I would definitely try. But like I don't know.
Colby
I don't
wants more
personally
branding
find myself.
opportunities.
Yeah, I want to be branded too.
Branded
Right?
app.
That's just my right brand at me.
Oh, what's this? Monster Energy is throwing a party in Fortnite? Sign me up.
It's exclusive.
Yeah, it's exclusive. The first 5 million people get in. God, we live in a hellscape.
I don't know. We're gonna have to keep an eye on this, and if
More as
if
the story develops.
right, if the time seems right, we'll have to do it.
Yeah, as soon as the fad is over, we're on it. That's the don't panic guarantee. Very cool. All right. Well, we've got a couple minutes here. We only have 2 picks, which is perfectly acceptable. Colby, what do you have here?
A long time, not a long time ago. It's definitely been on my list of things for like a couple of months. But this app, I don't know how I got it. I think it showed it must have been in one of the app store like featurette things one time, but it's like it's just a grocery list app. So you just put your whatever your shopping list in it. It works as you'd expect. So the first interesting feature is that it sorts your list based on the order in which you checked things off the last time you had them on your list. So it sort of implicitly learns where it kind of learns your route through the grocery store and where things are. So like I've used this, a few times now. And so like my vegetables are at the top of the list because the vegetables are right by the door at my grocery store. And it progresses through like canned goods and crackers and crap like that, and then like the meat section and dairy stuff is on my way out. So every time things come in order, and like it remembers like what if you put in like tomatoes, it remembers where tomatoes are relative to the other things on the list. Kind of neat. I've been using it. It has a bunch of other things, like you can have different stores and like different lists, and it uses like the reminders app as like the backing list. So that's kind of novel. But I learned like a week ago that they also have recipes built in, and their recipe thing is like it's like a smidge janky, but in an endearing way. And also you can just say like you have the recipe in there and you say just add all these items, all the things I need for the recipe to my shopping list, and it worked pretty well. So yeah, I'm a big fan.
Colby, I feel like you've been looking for a grocery app for the last decade.
Yeah, I tried to make one once.
I think I was your user for a little while.
Exactly. No, it's good.
This is cool.
It's like super solid.
I'll give it a shot. I still write my grocery list with a pen and paper, and then I bring the pen to the market and actually cross things out on the list in pen as I'm shopping. I feel like
you mean the Apple Pencil and the paper app? Like, what is this pen and paper that you speak of?
No, ink,
like
from a squid.
The Photoshop app?
No, boy, this guy, millennials, right? No, this is cool. Let's check it out. It's called Grocery. Smart shopping list. The icon's a little lemon, so you don't get confused. I'm sure there are 100 apps called Grocery, so make sure you get the right one. Cool. Alrighty. Then I will go on to my pick. I mentioned a few weeks ago that I picked up a new bag. I know we're a fan of bags here on the show. This is a wire cutter selection. They picked like 12 different bags, but this was the one I selected, the eBags Professional Slim Laptop Backpack. Look, I even brought a show and tell item. There you go. There it is in reality. It's a bag. It's very thin. I wanted a backpack, so it's got the
I've
straps
seen
and-
that one around in New York a lot. People really like that backpack.
Yeah, I had a coworker who just was gushing about how much he loved it. It's got, your easy front access deep pocket there for when you're traveling, and it's got all the different pocket. Now, it's got that weird e-bags thing where the inside, they always do the orange inside, which I don't really love, but it's got all kinds of zippers and bullshit. So I've been using it for like a week or two now, and it's just a really solid bag. It's well constructed, and the best part is they run sales on it all the time, but right now they're actually running a sale. You can get it for half off. I paid half price, $70 for the bag, which I thought was a very reasonable price for what you get. And it comes in 4 different colors. I've seen the gray, which is what I got. I've also seen the green in person, the sage green, and it's a really nice color as well. So we'll have the link in the show notes. But if you're looking for just a solid backpack, throw your crap in it, I'm very happy with it so far. So the eBabs Professional Slim Laptop Backpack. And that is that. Guys, unless you've got anything else. No?
Nope.
No, sir.
You good?
Pick in 20... Well, no. Are we having a show next week? I guess we are.
We will have another show before the end of the year.
Okay. Oh, there are 2 Mondays left.
That's our commitment, and we will do our big year-end wrap-up, our decade wrap-up.
Year-end wrap-up.
You're going to want to come back for that. And I will tease, coming later this week on Up for Debate, we are doing our own decade wrap-up episode, where we're going to share our favorite and least favorite things of the last decade.
Ooh.
And would you like me to drop a little hint on there for you?
I was just about to ask.
Now, Dan, I'll give you a choice. Do you want to hear one of my best things of the decade or one of my worst things of the decade?
I feel...
Worst.
Okay. All right, Colby.
Oh, I got some good best ones, but you'll have to tune to the episode to hear them. One of my worst things of the last decade, I think it applies well to the show, entrepreneurship. Yup.
Just as a whole.
As a concept that has been pitched to the American people as the correct way to go about your life. Entrepreneurship is not for everybody. Don't believe the hype.
For some reason, the word entrepreneur reminds me of manure.
You get it.
That's what I think of every time.
That's the correct way to think.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Interesting.
hot takes, and just I can't keep it into myself. And one of my best things of the last decade, fast casual dining.
That's an excellent choice.
That is absolutely in the last 10 years, and it has absolutely made life better for the common man. So
yeah, that was like, because when we graduated from high school 10 years ago, that was like the dawn of like Chipotle and Panera.
Absolutely. And think of all it's become.
Bad.
Okay.
Mediocre.
Bad
mediocre.
for us.
Maybe not bad. Panera is so much worse than it used to be.
Yeah, that's true. But to be fair, Colby, everything in modern life is worse than it used to be.
Yeah, that's true.
Panera's just going with the flow.
It's what you do.
Honestly, it's the best hospital cafeteria food you can get outside of a hospital. So take what you can get. It's going to be a very fun episode. You can check it out up for debate.tv or wherever you get podcasts.
What about the Marist cafeteria?
Bring back the old cafeteria. That's what I miss. Bring it back. I want nostalgia for that. No? Nobody? No?
I thought it was funny.
This show is don'tpanic.io. You can go to our website, get the audio and the video of all the shows, as well as a list of our picks. And, of course, you can subscribe wherever you get podcasts. Just search Don't Panic on Overcast, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get podcasts, we're there. And, of course, a video version on YouTube. And, of course, you can reach out to us at Don't Panic Show on Twitter and email don'tpanicshow@gmail.com. As we mentioned, we will be back with our year-end wrap-up episode in the coming weeks. But until then, on behalf of Colby and Dan, I'm Sean. Thanks for being here. We'll see you next time for another Don't Panic.